Phillies win it 6-2 over the Dodgers in the second game of this series. Welcome into Postgame Live, presented by Curado Insurance. Ashlyn Sullivan, Ricky Bowe, Ben Davis here with you. And while this win was so important to get the Phillies back on track, even more important, they have won the series against the season series against the Dodgers, Ben, which was something that was really important to them.
It is huge. To get home field advantage if they were to face them in the NLCS would be a huge deal here in South Philadelphia, because we know, as we talked about before, how raucous this crowd can be, and to be able to have that in the back of their pocket is huge. But they played a very, very good baseball game. It was a team effort. They got tremendous pitching, obviously. The hitting was timely, and it was just a good defense as well. Just a great team effort. It was fun to watch.
It was a complete game, and we were talking about it in pregame where the Dodgers were definitely getting a little too close for comfort for the best record in the National League. The Phillies now get this game over them, Ricky, which is something big because you've had this lead for so long. You don't want to give it up like this.
You never want to give up any leads. I don't care what they say. They know where they are in the standings. You know what? You have to love it that it's the Dodgers. You've taken now, 4 out of 5 games from them. And you have a chance to win a series in LA. I mean, to me, that's the most important thing right now, is that you actually have a chance to win a series. You've been struggling as of late. I looked at this game, and you know, yes, Cristopher Sanchez was outstanding. Ben said it was a team effort. I 100% agree with that. But the biggest thing that I watched were those 2 home runs fly out of there in the 9th inning. Why? Because they finally tacked on some runs. Mm-hmm. They finally put on some insurance for their pitching staff, and it could have been big. I mean, there were runners on base there in the bottom of the 9th. Whatever it was, that you know, it takes 2 to tango. You got the 2 home runs in there by Sosa and Schwarber. Schwarber's was a blast, but that's huge for me.
Yeah, capitalized on your opportunities, right, as we now go back to Los Angeles and check in with Ruben Amaro Jr., who is standing by and had a great call in the broadcast booth. Ruben, we just talked about the complete game from the Phillies. What was most impressive in your mind?
I just love the way Cristopher Sanchez went after this Dodgers lineup. You know, this guy does not get rattled. He's come a long, long way from where he was a couple of years ago here in this organization when they picked him up in that trade. And I'm just so impressed and he knows, you has to know how important these games are for this ball club. And for him to step on that mound and to pitch here in Dodger Stadium, basically one of the first times he's pitched here, for him to be able to perform the way he performed, that's pretty impressive. And now he's done it twice to the Dodgers. Not an easy thing to do. When you pitched against him a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was July 11th or so, and then come back and have another game, solid game against a very good lineup. Really impressive effort, and just as Ben said, I mean, a really good team effort. I love Edmundo Sosa. You know, you have your favorites on your team, but this guy, he's so prepared to play every single day. He is not getting the opportunities to play like he was when Turner was out. But it just seems like every time there is a opportunity for him to play a game, he has some sort of positive impact, and that's a beautiful thing and super helpful for Rob Thomson.
Ruben, you had 6 batters for the Phillies with multi-hits tonight. Would you say that's a huge confidence boost for this team, and would you say this might be the time they break out a little bit?
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. You know, at some point, somebody was going to have to pay for some of the things that were not happening offensively for this ball club. These guys are just too good. Harper's too good. Schwarber's too good. Turner's too good. He still hasn't gotten it really going. Bohm stays consistent, but somebody's going to pay. And I think that it's not just the confidence thing. I think it's the work. I mean, these guys are still working at it every single day, and they believe in themselves. Talking to Rob Thomson before the game today, I mean, he actually truly believes. He's not really worried. He does, just like anybody else, get frustrated by the fact that they were not playing great baseball, but he's not worried because he knows how good this team is, and I think this team knows it as well.
Ruben, we got a chance to see Austin Hayes play over the last so many years, but not on a big scale or every day. But for me, this guy takes daddy hacks up there. He's not the biggest in stature, but he unleashes, doesn't he?
He does, man. He fires that shillelagh through the zone. He's not afraid to swing it and swing it early. I really like his approach, man. He swings the bat aggressively, as you said, but he's a good defender. He seems to run the bases well. He does a lot of things well, and he just looks like a grinder. I mean, that's the kind of guy that you want on this team. They've been looking for some offense and a little bit of depth in that lineup from the outfield, and he's been outstanding. He's really put together some great at bats. Hits the ball hard, plays hard. I like what I see out of the guy.
Very much so. Phillies win this one 6-2. Ruben, thanks so much for the
Thanks,
time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Got to guys see it. Get some rest.
Absolutely. We'll do our best.
Get some rest, guys.
We're trying. And like we talked about why this is so big for the Phillies, this win, this cushion as well in the NL East, where you have 6.5 games up on the Braves, who lost tonight. Ricky, this is big as well.
Oh, you kidding me? The Braves got their butts whooped. They got
They didn't just lose.
They got tanned a little bit tonight, which is kind of nice. They had to use a position player to pitch tonight, so it's always nice when the Braves lose because nobody around here likes them anyway. So, yeah, the Phillies go back up to 6.5 games. You know, we had our panic. You get down to 5.5 games, you start to panic a little bit, and now the Phillies will stick it back at us and say we'll get this thing back up to 10 again.
Right. It's so much better. 5.5 and 6.5, just they feel different.
It does feel better. But if you look at tonight's ball game, they hit a couple home runs late in the game. But I like the fact that they were able to string hits together, singles. And that's something that I think has kind of eluded this ball club over the last month or so, is the fact that it seemed like it was all or nothing. We saw the Guardians series earlier here at CBP. They scored all their runs. In a 3-game series, they scored all their runs via the home run. You're just not going to win consistently with that approach, and that's why I really like tonight's ball game. It was a struggle, it was a grind early, but they were able to string some hits together and just put some runs across the plate. And I agree with Ricky, those 2 home runs later in the ball game, you never know with this Dodgers lineup and how they can string hits together and put up runs in big numbers. So that was nice to see, but early on, they got it done with the small ball, and they got some runs across the plate. I think he is something he really took a feather out of Ranger Suarez's cap, because a lot of lefties, that window inside to another lefty is so small. They don't like to do it a whole lot, but he does it effectively. We saw him jam Ohtani and Kiermaier and Freddie. You just don't do that on a regular basis, but it's the ability to do it. Again, the willingness. If I give you that sinker in, get it in there, and that's what he does. Okay, if he's going to miss with it, he's going to miss off the plate. He's not going to leave it in the middle of the plate, and that's what made him so effective this evening.
You bring up that little hole that you're actually throwing it at on the inside part of the plate, and the one thing you got to be very aware of, if you're going to miss, you miss in. So, I mean, if you're going to hit the guy, you hit the guy. There's nothing you could do about that. You just pick your spot, and if you miss that spot by, 4 or 5 inches and happen to hit somebody, hey, you know what? You take that one, you move on, you learn from it, you go to the next batter.
Yes, excellent performance from Cristopher Sanchez, pitching 6 innings, as we know. Go back to Los Angeles and hear from manager Rob Thomson.
Feels like a pretty big win. What pleased you most about a game like this?
I think it was a complete win. Pitching staff was really good. Everybody in the lineup got on base. Sosa had a big night. We played well defensively. I know Sosa made the error, but Sanchez made a heck of a play on the swing bunt, and Bone made a really good play behind the bag early in the game on Hernandez. It was good to see.
Strahm coming in there, high degree of difficulty. Time runs there. I mean, just given the way games have been going late.
Yeah.
What did you think of his outing?
It was great. He came in through strikes. I wanted to get him in where I got him in, so that I could at least, if we get past Ohtani, I know he's going to be on Ohtani, but if we get past Ohtani, then we have a chance to end the inning at Hernandez with a right-hander. So, but he did a heck of a job. And Hoffy, I know he gave up the leadoff home run, but his stuff was really, really good tonight.
Did you like the way they approached Kershaw, like kind of worked him and got him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I did. We didn't. We chased a little bit, but not a lot. Not like you usually do against Clayton. So I thought our approach was really good. I thought we had good at bats, and I thought Marsh's at bats against him were good. I know he got hit in the hand, but even the first at bat, he fouled the ball straight back, and he just missed it. He just kind of clipped one to right. It was a good swing. It was right on.
Ohtani is about as good as it gets in the sport. That's 3 times now Strahm's gotten him in late game situations with guys on base. How much do you like that matchup, or how much do you think that?
I like it, but he's a great hitter. So, I mean, you got to give him credit. You know, Strahm, fortunately, has pitched him well.
Sanchez has had the great June and not a good July. What did you see from him tonight? Do you think that kind of got him turned around maybe?
I think so. You know, I thought he was a little bit more behind in the count early in the game. I thought like he was feeling for his secondary pitches, and then like from the third inning on, he got it. It was normal. You know, I think he touched 95, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. But change up late in the game was really good, and usually that's what happens. You know, he gets a feel for it after a while.
And Schwarber had that hit the 3-2 slider from Kershaw for the single there in the fifth.
Yeah.
What did you think of that at bat? And that
Great at bat.
The moment, I guess.
Yeah, great at bat. He'd struck him out two times before, so Schwarber hung in there and got us on the board.
Seemed like you guys maybe picked something up in the running game there in the middle innings. Did you think that that energy kind of factored into what you guys were able to do that third time?
Yeah, I mean, it's first and third situation. A lot of teams don't throw in that situation, so it's not like we were outsmarting anybody.
Clinch this season series against
Yeah,
that's important, right?
that can be huge coming down the stretch. So that's a good thing. That's a really good club over there.
You were happy with Sosa, I think.
Yeah, he was good. You know, the double down the line was a big hit. I mean, a huge hit. And then he adds on with a home run in the ninth. He had a good night.
Has he given you more offensively than you would have expected this year? Did you kind of always think that if he got more at bats, he might be able to?
I've always thought that if you give him regular bats, more bats, he's got a good swing, you know, and he works at it. So, yeah, I think the more bats he gets, the better he gets.
He had a home run and a double, both down that right field line. Both the pitches were out there. I mean, what are you supposed to do? This is where they've been getting in trouble. Trying to pull that ball, you end up rolling over on it to shortstop, get yourself a nice little 6-3. Instead, you go with it, you get yourself a double down the right field line, and then later on in the ball game in the ninth, you get yourself a home run. And I like Sosa. I like the way he swings the bat. He's aggressive, but he takes what the pitcher gives him.
Right, and you look at that lineup there, Ben, you still can't help but look at the Trey Turners, the Bryce Harpers, right? The guys that aren't batting in runs, but it's that committee that you talk about that are helping with all of this going on, like a Nick Castellanos or a Sosa, that are able to pick up some of the slack here.
Without a doubt. You know, it takes a village, and this is exactly what happened tonight. The only ones without hits tonight were JT and Brandon Marsh, but they were able to get on and help the ball club via the walk, and they scored a couple runs, and that's what you need. And this was a good sign for the Phils. Hopefully they can continue this trend moving forward, because the approach that they had tonight, if they could stick with that, they will have results. Good, positive results. I loved what I saw. That's the hope. The Phillies win this one 6-2 over the Dodgers, the second game of the series, as we go back to Los Angeles and hear from pitcher Cristopher Sanchez.
What did you like about your outing tonight?
We won.
What about how you pitched?
Good. Estaba atacando temprano, tiré mucho atrás. Good. I was attacking the hitters early, and I threw a lot of strikes.
Were there anything specifically that you focused on between that Yankees start and this game?
¿Algo particular en lo que trabajaste de la salida con el Yankee ahora? No, lo mismo. Salí a competir cada día y dar lo mejor de mí ahí arriba. No, just the same thing. Go out and compete and give the best of myself every single outing.
What do you see as the difference between those two then, the difference in results? Like, what do you see as the reason?
¿Qué tú ves la diferencia? ¿Qué tú crees que fue la diferencia de esos resultados en las últimas dos salidas? Que en esta los resultados salieron a mi favor, la otra no. Simply this one, when the results were on my side, and that's when they weren't. That's it.
Beating the Dodgers now twice over the last month. There's a lot of good hitters in that lineup. What sort of confidence builder has that been for you, these outings against them?
Sí, tú le has ganado los Dodgers dos veces en el último mes. ¿Qué tipo de confianza te da? Porque en ese año hay muchos buenos bateadores. Sí, como tú dijiste, tiene muchos bateadores, pero todos los bateadores tienen puntos débiles, y eso es lo que nosotros los pitchers estudiamos. Yeah, as you mentioned, they have a lot of good hitters, but all good hitters have their weak spots, and that's what we study for outings like this.
What did you think of Strahm getting Ohtani again?
¿Qué tú crees de Strahm sacando a Ohtani de nuevo? Sí, él sabe lo que hizo. Él vio como yo le piché, que estaba pichándole adentro yo, y él cambió un poco la secuencia. Yeah, he knows what he did there. I mean, he watched me pitch, and he saw that I was doing how I was doing my sequence going in, and he just switched it up. He changed it up a little bit, and he got it.
Cool. Was that all heaters to Ohtani until that final pitch?
Mixed a cutter in there.
Oh, that was the 90 mile an hour.
The 1-1 pitch was a cutter?
Yeah.
Okay. Show they called it a four.
No, but I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They don't throw too many. I mean, you don't throw too many cutters lefties now.
I remember the last one I threw was in spring training to Neil Cruz, and he hit it about 470 feet foul.
So what made you want to break it out there?
I trust JT.
Huh.
Okay.
And then last time when you got him in Philly, that big spot, you talked about your slider. I'm going to go with my slider. I'm going to go with my slider. But then it was all pretty much fastballs until the end. What was the thought process there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, again, just thinking along with JT there, but you could just kind of sense that he's looking for my fastball up. I mean, that is my bread and butter, and he's very good at hitting those. So I kind of went to my 1B and tried to stick one down and away. And, I mean, it kind of sets up that slider there 3-2 because my slider off there is going to start more on than those fastballs have looked to him. So it kind of just set it up. The slider still, I mean, worked, but should have been off a little more.
Okay.
Sanchez said you did a good job of like sequencing in a way that was different from what he was doing. Was that like something that you were trying to do deliberately, or was it just...
Again, JT does an unbelievable job, and I mean, again, I watch Sanchez gets him inside all 3 times, and again, it's also JT uses my strengths and my deception. So again, it just sets everything up, and like I said, JT's unbelievable at doing his homework.
How do you feel about the way you guys have played the last 3 days? You're winning 2 out of 3 after kind of what you've been going through.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to get a winning streak going. Feel a lot better about that, but you know, this game is really hard, and I mean, just like at the beginning of the year, none of it matters unless we do what we need to do at the end.
You showed some emotion in Seattle, and obviously another big spot tonight. Is that kind of what some of it is, just the ups and downs of the season?
Nah, I'm just a competitive dude. So I do that in the backyard when I punch my brother out.